This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream will start very soon. So please stay tuned. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the third video of what is going to be a four-part series called Classic Watch 2022 The Verdict. We've done the UK and the Irish verdicts already. We thought we were fairly confident in doing them because the way the seasons are run, once we got past the Breeders' Cup, we were fairly certain that none were going to run again. We couldn't be as confident in France because they like to race a bit later than their European counterparts. And the USA video, we're actually going to wait until the year actually ticks over. So, Classic Watch 2022.ml started around April or March or April time last year. What we did is we looked at the four scenes we were following: USA, France, Ireland and the UK, and we identified a few horses from each and just waited and see how it all planned out. People can find the site at classicwatch2022.ml. You'll see that we've had a smattering of winners, even a few classics there. Look, we took out the 2,000 guineas in the UK, the Irish 2,000 guineas, the UK Oaks, the French Derby, and the UK St Ledger. So we didn't do too bad, and we also took out the Eclipse and the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mares Turf against older horses as well. So we didn't do too bad, really. It's fair to say. This video here is going to take a look at how the French ones progressed. Really, we started with a good few back in April. And we're going to take a look at them now, how they got on. Dream Flight, the Andre Fabre trained colt. Disappointing horse, it has to be said. I mean, we looked at the form last year. It was 7th in our Bodygon's race last year as a 2-year-old, the Criterium de Saint-Cloud. And it was also a Group 3 winner as a 2-year-old. But it couldn't even match that form at 3. It managed to win first time of asking by a neck in the listed Pre-Omnium 2 at St Cloud, and then it was never even tried above Group 3 level, gaining further placed efforts out at listed and Group 3 level. You have to say, it was a poor performance, poor campaign from the horse, who ended up winning 2 out of 9 races. The next one we took a look at was Mathletic, who we were quite confident we had a pattern race horse here at 2. Here's one of them that was deliberately kept out of the French pattern, we felt, at 2. 2 minor victories, and we were looking forward to him making his presence felt this year at pattern race level. Unfortunately for the horse and for us, it's just never happened. You know, the horse has run 4 times and he's been quite frustrating to follow, really, finishing second on 3 of those starts at Group 3 and listed level. So again, this is another one that we have to go down as a disappointment. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, we'd have had 20 or 30 French horses, you know, French-based horses. We limited ourselves to 7 this year, and the first 2 hasn't got off to a great start, has it? Thirdly, we have the Andre Fabre trained Juddmonte horse Agave. I think we were quite unlucky with this one. You know, it was one that only raced towards the end of September last year as a 2-year-old, never really making another start. But then it had a good campaign, I feel, at the start, going through the grades nicely, winning a listed race in March, the Prix de Rose de Mai, and a Group 3 in April, the Prix Penelope. It then was second in the Group 2 behind Onesto, a subsequent French Derby runner-up, I think that was. And then it went back against its own sex to contest the Group 1 French Oaks, the Prix de Diane in June, where it ran a creditable race, I felt, finishing 4th behind the English Raider Nashua. So it wasn't far off classic pattern, classic place, this horse. It then finished 3rd in another Group 2 at Deauville in the Prix de la Nonette. We had the winner that day, Trouvenant. And then two average runs, really, in Group 1 company to finish the season in the Prix Vermeil and the Prix de l'Opera. 2 tough races for French 3-year-olds against older fillies, it's fair to say. So we might have just got away with this one. Group 2, Group 3, Group 1 classic 4th, dual Group 2 placed, Group 3 enlisted winner. You know, it's not a good season. It'd be harsh for us to class this as a total failure. The next one is another one trained by Andre Fabre, Zelly. The Wootton Bassett side, Zelly. This was another one we had high hopes for. It was a Group 1 2-year-old winner, landing the Prix Marcel Boussac. But it started off well. It's second in a Group 3 in France, the Prix Imprudence, one of their leading Guinness trials. And then rather than come to France, rather than stay in France and contest their 1,000 guineas, it actually came to Newmarket and contested the UK 1,000 guineas. Where again, we have to say she ran a creditable race there, finishing 4th. It was then a while since we then saw her again in June, where she ran in the French Oaks, finishing 7th out of 17. And then it was a while since we saw her again, not until October, where she ran in the Prix de Ranelagh, this time for the first time against her older horses, and she could only finish 4th out of 7 in what was easily her worst run of the year. So this is another one really we have to class as a disappointment, really, a Group 1 winning 2-year-old that hasn't managed to win a pattern race at 3. The next one we took a look at was Raclette, another Juddmonte horse trained by Andre Fabre. And again, I think we have to say we got away with this one. I think it did all right. Another one last year that was deliberately kept out of pattern company and up in Trip this year, eventually at 3. It started off in April in the Prix de la Grotte, where it was a very disappointing 8th out of 9, ending the hopes that the horse was a miler. They then stepped it up in Trip by only a furlong and dropped it in class for the listed Prix Finland, when it could only finish 4th. And it was then when it was stepped up to above 10 furlongs and a mile and a half that the horse came into her own, really. She did win the listed Prix Melisson at Longchamp in June. And then what was arguably her best performance of the year was in July, when she took out the Group 2 Prix de Mailleret at Longchamp, showing a good attitude to win by a head. Connections then, I felt, did the right thing. You know, this is a well-bred filly, and they chucked her in right in the deep end and sent her to England in August for the Yorkshire Oaks. But she was facing Alpinista that day, and she was 6th out of 7, beaten 9 lengths against her elders. And the ratings of 107 matched the rating that she got when she won the Group 2. An interesting horse, Raclette. Group 2 and listed winner. You know, we have to say that if a horse can win 2 pattern races in a year, you know, it's hard. It's hard to class it as a failure, isn't it? But on a site called Classic Watch, we run a tight ship here. The horse has never ran in a classic, so make of that what you will. The next one was another one we had hopes for. The Coolmore-owned, Andre Fabre-trained Ancient Rome colt. This one, we thought we had a good chance with, really. It was a Group 3 winner at 2, when it won the Prix de Chêne. And then it was placed in 2 Group 1s behind Angel Blur on 2 occasions. A horse that we also followed, and it sort of let us down a bit as well. Angel Blur, we have to say. At 3-year-old, it came back in the Prix de Fontainebleau, a leading long shot classic trial, and it could only finish 6th behind Well. But Connections, to their credit, I feel, decided that trial was what it was, and they turned up in the French 1,000 Guineas in May, and it ran a creditable race really. It went 4th behind Modern Games in the French Guineas. It then went on to the French Derby in June, where it ran a disappointing race really, finishing 9th of 15 behind a horse we're going to talk about in a moment. It was then not seen again. So whether they're going to bring it back at 4, who knows what we're going to do. Whether we've seen the last of Ancient Rome or not. A disappointing horse really. A dual Group 1 placed, Group 3 winning 2-year-old that has not managed to gain 1 placed effort in 2 classics and 3 pattern race overall, although it adds to our list of classic 4ths. In fact, it is our 3rd classic 4th of the season from the French-based runners. Last but not least in France is the Jean-Claude Rouget trained Verdani, side by Churchill and owned by the Aga Khan. This one was by far and away our best French prospect of the year. It had pattern race form at 2 when it landed. The Prix-Criterium du Fond European race at Deauville in August. It was then 3rd behind our Bodygon in September in the Group 3 Prix de la Conne. That was another one that raced well in the Prix de Fontainebleau, finishing 5th, before then the penny finally dropping in spectacular style, starting in May with a win in the Group 3 Prix de Guiche, and then a scintillating 5-length victory over another one of ours, El Barrigon, to land the French Derby in June, where it ran to 125. It then came to the UK in July to contest the Eclipse against the older horses and managed to defeat no other than Mishriff by a neck to prove himself a horse of the highest quality. A little break then in the summer followed before 2 very creditable runs at the top level in September in Ireland in the Irish Champion Stakes, when he was 3rd behind Luxembourg. Slightly locked for room that day, and then he bounced back in spectacular style in the Arc in October, finding only Alpinista too good on the day. You know, what a fantastic horse Verdani has been. You know, he's by far and away an overwhelming success. An Eclipse winner against the Elders, French Derby winner against his classic generation. Impossible really not to class this horse an overwhelming success. Overall in France, I don't know, we sort of hit the crossbar a few times, didn't we? Agave finishing 4th in the classic. Zelli finishing 4th in a classic. Ancient Rome finishing 4th in a classic. A case really of so close and yet so far for the French runners, I feel. What I am going to do at the end of this video before I leave it there is I will include a link to this Hold the Verdict series. This might be, we're getting new subscribers all the time for some bizarre reason. Thank you very much for supporting the channel as you do. Watch the videos. Obviously we don't want you to comment on them. Well, we're not out for prizes. We're not out for public displays of look how many likes we've got. That's why we took away the option for you to comment and like on our videos. They're purely for you to just watch and enjoy and then go away and get on with your lives. We're not looking to keep people engaged or anything. Just pass out. Dissemination really would be the key word. So above there now there will be a link to the first 2 parts of this series. The USA one will be done, like I said, in the first couple of days of January. But the fun starts now really. We've got 63 Classic Watch 2023 horses to rank and get on websites over the next few months. We've also got the National Hunt horses to keep an eye on as well. I hope maybe add to the team as well, heading up to the festivals in March, the spring festivals in March, Cheltenham, Aintree and Punchestown. Yes, there are Group 1 races before then, but we will stick to what we've always done over the jumps. But for now, thank you very much for supporting this video. I'm going to leave it there, everybody. Take care and have a fantastic day. Thank you very much for watching.